Are you ready to step into your preferred future? What is your preferred future? Were you aware, by the way, that in Canada, there's $100 million a day spent on prescription drugs? Is that your preferred future? It certainly isn't going to be my preferred future. That was a bit depressing. What was even more depressing was in Puerto Rico, they just passed a law that will fine the parents if their children are obese. I go to the hockey arena with my grandsons, and I see the parents bringing in Tim Horton Timbits as a reward at the end of the game. What's wrong with this picture? And it's easy to get negative, but I've decided to be very positive and look for changes that are taking place. 2 weeks ago, I was refereeing volleyball at a middle school at Dunsmuir Middle School. And I had 3 lovely young ladies keeping score for me. And partway through because it was a long day, they go to about 3 till 6. These girls brought out their snacks. And I'm over investigating the snacks. And remember, I'm on the positive kick now. Well, look at this. Beautiful rice cakes with peanut butter. That is an actual quality snack. If your school isn't a nut-free school. Because some schools are. And then I was refereeing volleyball just this last week at Lansdowne. And there's one of the young players, and I went over, and he had a little plastic container with fruit. And he was having that. Now, I immediately complimented him. I said, your parents must be really on the ball. It turns out that the mother was a former player of mine, and she was standing there. But when you look around, you can actually see positive things happening. And maybe we need to focus on the positive things we can do for our health so that we're not part of the $100 million a day on prescription drugs. Now, am I making any difference with my grandchildren? I hope so. And there we were in Nanaimo, and we're having dinner. The waitress goes around and asks everyone, and my little 9-year-old grandson said, well, I'll take a chicken burger. And she said, oh, you want fries with that? No. She said, no. Oh, yeah, I'll take a Caesar salad, which I think is a step up from fries. It may not be the greatest, but he's 9 years old. At the end, they hand out your receipt and they put down little candies. You've seen that. My other grandson steps up, picks up all the candies, and takes them back and puts them back in the dish. If we look for the positive, we can find it. In the book, In Defense of Food, great book. Like, think about it. In defense of food. Does food need defense? Well, I think it does. But the author very simply says, if you want to know what food to get at the grocery store, if your grandmother wouldn't recognize it, don't get it. But a friend of mine said, if you can't understand the ingredients, make sure you don't get it. But I love that. If your grandmother didn't understand it, then don't get it. In the China study, credible book, where they analyzed clearly what would make a difference in the healthcare in the United States, but it was done in China. Simple. Very simple. Plant-based, whole foods. Now, when he was involved, the author was involved on the coming up with a plan for the U.S. nutritional program, and they had a committee. The other side of the argument put a spy on their committee. because they didn't want the health food regulations in the United States to reflect that this is what we would have to get. He knew, by the way, that the spy was there, so it was funny. He says, I'm watching the spy, and the spy's watching me. If you want to make a difference, recognize that food is for your body to do something. Now that means you need to think about exercise. It's the only reason we're really having any excess food at all, or having food, is so we can do exercise. Now I strongly suggest kedging. Now kedging is a sailing term where when they were coming into a harbor and there wasn't any wind, they would send the anchor out ahead and pull towards it. They'd anchor it and pull towards it. If you want to make a difference in who you are and what you are, think about a kedging adventure. Do you want to hike the Camino 800 kilometers? If you do, you'll think about your exercise, but you'll think about your nutrition. If you want to come on a bike ride around Cuba with me, which is what I did a couple of weeks ago, you'll think about your nutrition and you'll think about your exercise. If you're going to do any exercise, be gentle. Because if you, and by the way, research is showing that all these marathons are destroying our health, creating more free radicals. Because when you exercise, you create excessive free radicals. Isn't that amazing? So be gentle, but do something that will improve your health. This morning, as I was thinking about the presentation, I was sitting with Ray and I went, whoa, this is the quote that I got this morning from a Bicycle magazine. A happy, healthy body should be a byproduct of a happy, healthy life. Now, this lady had become anorexic because she was all concerned about the food she was eating. She said, we should be strong and fit because we're out tackling hills and town-side sprints. She's a cyclist. We should be focusing on all the incredible nourishing foods we should be eating rather than those few that maybe we shouldn't. Let's focus on what we can do, and it all starts here. Are you ready?